Good morning. All right, ladies, hope you're all well. I'm here today to do my next design team project for the Trinket Parlour over on Facebook. Going to do something a little different this week. I promised a construction tutorial and that's what I'm going to be doing. However, it might end up being next week's because it's a bit tricky in places. So it's taken me a while to work out. I've never done this before. And so it's a bit of a learning curve for me as well as you. So let me show you what we're making. Don't laugh at my drawing. It's going to be a vintage camera. Pretty, huh? So yeah, I had to draw it out a bit. This is the tricky bit along here. These are the easy bits, but this is the tricky bit. So I've sat here all night for hours trying to work out how to do it, the best way to do it, the easiest way to do it for you and for me, because as I said, I've never done this before, but I've always wanted to make one, so I thought I'd give it a go. Plus I want to use up some of my Trinket Parlour metal pieces, what I thought would go nice on this camera, so that's what we're doing today. Good luck. We're going to need it. So, preparation. What we're going to need, I started first with my inserts because I used, I didn't want to be sitting here for hours cutting out and all that sort of thing. So I've used my Timmy Holtz vintage cabinet card die. Okay, so I've cut all my inserts out with that. If you haven't got one of these, then it's not a problem. You can, you know, use what you've got. Based on the sort of sizes that I give you, and you should be okay to go. So the the inserts, these measure, I've done mine already. I'm using Timmy Holtz papers as well. I think this is industrial something, can't remember what it's called. I'll have a look and check for you. So yeah, all I did is use my chipboard. I had this chipboard. Some of them, they were already cut in my stash, so I thought I might as well use them. So, yeah, I cut 10 of these from chipboard. Okay. And then you need 20 papers, the same. So, and then they will go front and back, like so. I've already done 9 of mine. I just kept one back to show you. So, yes, you're going to need 10 of those. Whatever you choose to do, whether you're just going to cut out some squares or whatever. Now the pocket sizes are going to be 4.5 by 4.5 inches, and you're going to need 10 pockets. Okay, so as long as your inserts are going to fit in those pockets, it doesn't matter if they're a bit taller than 4.5, because mine are taller than 4.5. So if you see, let me grab one. My tops are going to poke out, but I want them to poke out. That's why I've done them 4.5 by 4.5. So as you can see, there's plenty of room for them to slide in. And then I'm leaving the tops out so you can easily pull them out, because this part of the camera is where it's going to be an album, basically, to put all your photos in. So that's that. So you're going to need 10 of these, 4.5 by 4.5. If you want to make this section first, and then do your inserts to make sure they fit, then that's totally up to you. But as I said, I did mine first because it's a lot of gluing, or if you use your score tape, whatever's easier for you. I am going to ink the edges as well. Okay, so I sat and did all that last night. Bit easy, but time consuming, you know. So hence the preparation video first before we put it all together. So that's your inserts for your pockets. 10 of those. You want 10 of these. If, as I said, I'm learning as well, so if there's any deviation in what I'm saying to you, I will let you know as we're putting it all together. Excuse me. So, yeah, I'm learning as well, so I'm hoping I've got all the measurements so correct. So then we need to join these pockets together to get this part here. So I had an A4 sheet of cardstock, which is 11 5/8, I think an A4 sheet is. So all I did was mark every ½ an inch along there. You will get a 1/8 of an inch edge here, which I just cut off, and then you're going to score it at every ½ an inch. So your sheet will be 11 1/2 once you've cut your little 1/8 of an inch extra off, by 4 1/2 inches, okay, because they're going to be the same size as your pages, your pockets. All right, then what you're going to do, I've done 2 already, because you want 2 for each side and then 1 at the bottom. So, and I haven't worked out how I'm going to put this together yet, so you'll have to bear with me. We are all learning together. So you want 3 of those, 1 for each side of the pockets and 1 for the bottom, and then what that will do is join it somehow all together like so. Alright, so let's do the sides first. I'll probably do the sides first because that's the easy bit. Then as you see, as you put the pages on each section, that will give us that centre bit with all our pockets in. So again, 3 of these, it might change, but at least do 2. If I have to change the bottom, the 2 sides will definitely be right, but then I've got to work out how to do the bottom so that when you put your inserts in, they don't fall out. Okay, so get that ready, ladies. 11 1/2 by 4 1/2, and you're scoring at every ½ an inch, and then when you fold it, you're going to concertina it. So up, down, like that. Okay, so it gives you that. Okay. What else are we going to need? We're going to need some chipboard, but the reason I'm doing the middle bit first is because I want to make sure that when I want this album to close up, so it's just like a box, and then you open the box and pull it out and it's like the shape of the camera. So I need this section, so when it concertinas shut, that it shuts into these end bits here. Let me show you, sorry. So yes, when you push this bit together, I want to be able to join these 2 boxes so it closes up. So that's the reason I'm doing this first, because I need the measurements of the concertina section with the inserts inside, and then I can take the measurements and that will give me the size of the boxes, but I will show you that later. So that's it for now. I am going to, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm just going to glue this down. Let's just do this. This is my last one. I've done all the others. So use your glue, but don't go mad with your glue because you don't want it to bubble up or anything. Tim Holtz papers are pretty thick, so they don't bubble. They've come out pretty well, I think. Industrial Revolution, and that's the paper stack that I've used from Timmy. And all you do, this is why I thought it'd be easier, if you use a die, then you can cut your papers and cut your chipboard, and these big Timmy Holtz dies, they cut really well through chipboard, so it's going to be easier than sitting there cutting out. So if you've got anything like that, then I suggest you use that. Okay, or use your what you call it, your paper cutter, and cut out what you want. So I'm just going to add these 2, if my glue works. Oh, now I've got glue all over me. Okay. So yeah, when you're doing 10 of these, they take a bit of time, so go all around your edges first. I know you can't see it because this is the side with the white on, but that's that one. And then just line it up and put that on. Try not to get glue everywhere like I do. And just burnish it down without moving it. See, I've moved it already. I'm so heavy-handed. That's better. Okay. If you've got any overhang, they should be the same size if you use a die, so you haven't got to sit and cut round it and what have you. So, but like here, I've got a tiny little bit of white showing. So what I will do is ink it. Not sure what, maybe vintage photo. I do like my vintage photo. So I want this quite blokey. It's from Bloke. So hence using all the metal pieces that I've got from the Trinket Parlour to, you know, finish it off and closures, that sort of thing. And then next week I can get back to the pretty stuff of my new Cherubs box of goodies. But I promised you a construction tutorial. I haven't done one for a few weeks, so I thought I'd get it done. I've been trying to cheat and see if anyone else has got a video on how to do it. But have they? No. Lots of photos of cameras, but no tutorial anywhere. So I've had to learn myself how to do it. Whether it's going to work or not, we will soon find out. So I might have to make some adjustments. So you definitely need these done and ready to pop in, because then you're going to need to measure and see what size your outer boxes are going to be, so that when it closes up, it all closes up and the two boxes meet, and then you use a closure to keep it shut. So again, burnish it down, try not to move it. So the size of these, once they're all ready, remember the pockets are 4.5 by 4.5. So this is 4 inches, so it gives you a bit of a gap each side to slot in, by 5 inches. So the top bit will just hang over the top so you can easily lift it out. And what I'm going to do is use these Prima Marketing brads, and I will put them in the centre there, so you've got something to hold to pull each one out. Okay, so that's that done. Pretty pilly. I love these papers. I love vintage. So you see how thick that's going to be, and then you've got to add the pockets in, so that'll make it even wider. So then I will measure along and get the width, so that when I make the boxes, half will close into one box and half will close into the other box, and it should hopefully all close up and be nice and neat. So that's my inserts. Now let's do excuse me, our hingy bits for holding it all together. So an A4 sheet is 11 5/8. So if you just mark where the without making a mess, no, sorry, score at 11.5, and that'll give you a 1/8 inch bit that you're going to cut off after you finish scoring. Then you're going to score at every 1/2 inch. Okay, so your first one's at 11.5, that's the section you're going to cut off. Then you want to score at 11, 10.5, 10, 9.5, 9, 8.5, 8, 7.5, 7, 6.5, 6, 5.5, 5, 4.5, 4, 3.5, 3, 2.5, 2, 1.5, 1, and then at 1/2 inch. Okay, so it gives you that. Can you see that little bit there? This is the little bit you're going to cut off. So let's get rid of my scoreboard. Whatever, you don't have to use black cardstock. I just want to use black because I want it vintagey. So choose whatever colours papers you're going to use to cover your boxes and things. You want it to the cardstock to coordinate. So, you know, if you want to do blue cardstock. It's up to you. Right, and then what we're going to do is concertina this. Again, remember, you need 3 of these. Well, at least 2, 1 for each side. And then I'll check the bottom as we're putting it together. Let's see, we might even end up cutting a bit off, but it's best to have more than not enough. So the first fold, you're going to go up, burnish it down. Then you're going to turn it over, go up again, turn it over, up, turn it over, up. Try and keep it as straight as possible. And just do that. Just keep turning and folding up. Like that. Like that. Like that. Like that. Like that. Like that. All the way to the end. Oh, it's a bit hard to hold on to. But you want to try and keep them as straight and as even as possible. And if this doesn't work, I am going to cry. Oh, I did try and do it so that the concertinas were actually on the pockets, but I stuck it on wrong. I started doing one. Where is it? Started doing this one. I did individual ones like this, 2-inch strips, and just scored them every 1/2 inch, and then was going to glue the pockets on. But I glued the first one wrong anyway, so I thought this would be easier. Okay, so that's what you will end up with. And then what we do, see these bits on the end. Hang on, let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, that should just be right. And then what we do, let's get the other one out, like so. So then what we do is just attach the pockets to the concertina like that. This bit will be glued into the box so that it moves in and out of the box. Okay, so let's do the first one, shall we? See how it goes. So ignore the first one. You don't want to put any glue on this one. You want to put the fold where you've got peaks and valleys, haven't you? So where your peak is, ignore this first flap and put your glue or your score tape on that peak. So let's try that. Okay, like that. And then what we're going to do, we're going to lay our pocket inside, and then make sure that's right up to the crease. Make sure you're all lined up, and bring it over and burnish it down. Looks okay to me. Alright, so that's what your first one will look like. So then when you do the next one, again, you're going to do it on the inside here. Is that right? Let me have a look. No. That's the pocket. Let's have a look. Yes. Yeah. So this one is attached. You're going to put your glue on the next one. Next peak. Okay. So let's do that. Again, I'm going to put it down. Make sure I'm in that crease and I'm all lined up with the bit underneath, and then just burnish it down. Okay. So that's what you should have. So that's your first, once you put this side on, that'll be your first pocket. Alright, so we're going to just carry on going along. We'll do one side at a time. Don't know whether it's easier to do two sides at a time, but I'm not going to, in case I do it wrong. Next pocket. Make sure your crease is up and your glue is on this inside bit here. Push that right up into the crease. Make sure you're lined up with the page underneath, and then push it down. Now, if we need to add anything or chop a bit off, we'll do that at the end. Make sure you haven't got any ooziness. Alright. So, can you see what's happening there? So, and then we're going to do the next peak. So, which will be this bit here. Okay. So again, add your glue. I'm sure it'd be a lot easier with score tape, but I haven't got any. Need to go shopping. Well, not that you can get score tape over in this country. I got it off eBay last time. Right, next pocket, same thing. Line it up with the underneath pocket. Make sure you're in that crease and fold it over. Alright. So I'll do one more with you, then I'm going to go off and finish this side off camera, and then I'll come back and do the next side. So let's just do one more with you. So you ignore that bit, and you want to put glue on your next peak, this side here. Alright? Yes. Need to leave my glue standing up because do that. Okay. Put your glue on. Get your next page. Line it up with the underneath. Make sure you're in the crease. And then bring that over and burnish it down. Can you see it coming together? Like that. Right, I'm going to do the rest off camera. And then I will come back. So let me just show you. Once you've added your page, okay, the next bit that you glue is this bit along here on your peak. Okay. So you're doing it to the left of your peak. So then that will go down and then you put glue left of the next piece, put your paper on and it will go like this. I'm going to do one more. And then I'm going to go and have a cup of tea, or make a cup of tea. And come back and do the next one. I need to cut a couple more of these pages because I added two together wrong. So again, line it up with your bottom sheets so you're not wonky, and then bring that over and burnish it down. Alright, any questions, just ask. I'll go off and finish that and then I'll come back and we'll put the other side on. See you in a minute, girls. Hiya, I'm back again. Right, I finished that. As you can see, all pages are now attached on one side. So there's your concertina that will open and close. So we need to do the same for the other side. And I was just looking at the bottom piece, and I think we might be a bit wide. I think we're going to have to cut it down, but we'll sort that out in a minute. Let's put the other side on. So we're going to do exactly the same thing. So I put the right side on, but I'm going to flip it round because I'm right-handed. So again, you're going to do the same thing. You're going to want this little flap here left out on its own. So you'll end up with the same like that. Okay, so what we're going to do as best we can, so fold this first flap under and we're going to put glue on that first flap there. I think that's right. Let me just check. I don't want to tell you wrong. Yes. So let's do that first. So the first flap is folded under and you're going to put glue on the inside, on the left side, like that. Put the glue standing up. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to line it up, put the first one on, make sure you're right in that crease and lined up top to bottom, like so. So that's your first one on. Get rid of your excess glue. Alright. So you see now at the bottom you've got these two flaps here. So when we attach the next one, we're going to do the same as what we did before. Make sure it's going to line up. Get all my pages in right. Yeah. So what we were doing before, we were attaching the glue to the right side of our peak, but now, because we're going the other way on the other side, we need to attach it to the left peak. So this next page will come over like that. Okay, like that. And then the next page will go down on there, and then hopefully that should all line up. So let's get on with it. Make sure I'm recording. Am I recording? Yes. So here we go. Try not to get on the other side of your flap. Wipe it off. Hold it down as best you can. Push it into the gap. Make sure you're all lined up. And burnish it down. Let me just check that. Get that bit of glue off there. And that one will go in there. Like that. Yes. Okay. So that's that done. Now fold this down and put your glue on the inside. Don't go mad because you don't want it oozing. Put my glue in. Now you've got to try and, it's a bit fiddly. You've got to bring your page over, pull it in the gap, wipe off your excess so you don't make a mess, and just burnish that down. You've got a bit of wiggle room when you use glue, so if you do it wrong, you've got time to move it before it dries. Okay, so then same for the next one. Fold your flap down, put your glue on the inside, on the left this time, not on the right. Try and hold that in place. Bring your next page down, make sure you're in the crease and all lined up, and burnish it down. Oh, wiggle, wiggle. Okay, and then the next one. Bring this page down, line it up, make sure you're in that crease. Bring your flap down and just push it down. So it will start looking like that. Okay, so then push your next flap down, add your glue, Fold it down as best you can. Bring your flap down or your pocket. Push it right into that groove. Burnish it down. Like that. And again, fold your next one over. Add your glue. Bring your page over. Put it in. Make sure you're lined up everywhere. Okay. Next one down. Add your glue. Bring your page over. Line it up. Burnish that down. Okay, same with the next one. Fold it over. Add your glue. Bring your page over. Line it up. Oh, push it in. Make sure your top and bottom are lined up well, and that you're in your crease, and that it still folds. Same with the next one. Bring your page over. Make sure you're all lined up. Okay, and then your last one, fold your page down, your flap down rather, sorry. Add your glue. Bring your last page over. Line it up. So fiddly. So then you'll have that last flap again like you did before. Okay, so that's all your pockets. And then hopefully your little inserts will fit in. Like so. So now we've got to do the bottom, which is going to be a nightmare. So what I thought, Now I cut this 4.5 inches, as I told you, for the bottom, but I think we're going to have to cut it down because, let me show you, let's be flat on, there it is. I'll start from this end. What I want it to do, yeah, I'm going to cut it down. So I think I'm going to leave a gap either side where the creases are. So from the hinge to the other hinge, you want to measure that gap there. And that's the size we're going to cut it down to, which is about 3.5 inches. So if you've already cut this at 4.5, just going to straighten it out and cut it down to 3.5. Make sure you're nice and straight. Take that bit off. Okay, and then just fold it back up. So then, hopefully, which that's going to be my top, and this is going to be my bottom. Now, just bear with me while I think about this. I'm going to need that to go in. Just going to have a play. That like that. That like that. It's going to be a bit fiddly. So, like that. Next page. Like that. Like that. Like that. Oh, I didn't leave me flap at the end, did I? Yeah. So that's what it's going to do. It's going to fold in like that. But I forgot to add my flap, so you want to move it over a bit. It's got too much. You might end up with too much, but as I said, it's better to have too much than too little. So you want to ignore this flap again. And we are going to put glue on the insides, both sides of the valleys, okay? Let me just check that's right. Like that. Make sure I've got like that. Just going to make sure I've got enough. That in there. That one in there. Oh, that's that in there. That in there. And that in there. And then you'll have, well, you'll have two flaps at one end. So yes. So that will go on the outside. So ignore the first two. Like that. So you've got this one and this one. So you're going to ignore those first two. And then on your next peak, so you've got one peak that you're going to ignore, this one. And then on this peak, the second peak, you're going to put glue on both sides. Now this is going to be a bit fiddly, but let's just go for it, shall we? So glue on both sides. Where's my bottom? That's my top. This is my bottom. And then this peak is going to go in the pocket, in your first pocket. So just let it fall in and then just scrunch it all together. Okay. Oh, done it the wrong way round. Sorry. Take that off. You need it facing you. Okay, the long bit towards you. Start at the back. So I'm going to do that again. Push that back in. Nice and straight. Squeeze it together. Burnish it down. Give it a minute to dry. Okay. So that's what you've got first. You've got these two flaps and then you've got your valley going down into your pocket. Okay. And then you want to put glue on both sides of your next valley. Like that. I think that's right. Yes. Okay. So if I turn it over so you can see. So here's your peak. Here. So you want glue both sides. I'm going to turn it round so I can see what I'm doing. Okay, so can you see? Glue both sides of my valley. Find your pocket, your next pocket, which is this one. I'm going to have to stand it up and do it. And you just need to push that down. Really fiddly, but push that down. Get that out of the way. Into your pocket. That's it. Okay, can you see? Squash it together. So that's the first two done. So again, flip your page out. Make sure that's in properly. Glue on both sides. You have to lift it up. Open your next pocket. You push that one down into your pocket and squeeze it together. Give it a minute to take. Make That's in. Just going to hold it together a minute to let it take. And then I'm going to do my next one, which is, oh, that's not in. Doesn't matter if there's a little bit of a gap, it's going to be on the bottom so you won't see it. Open up your next pocket, push that down into your pocket, like that. Getting glue everywhere. And that's what you're going to do all the way along. And that should bring your concertina together nicely. So I'll do one more, then I'm going to do the rest off camera. As you can see, I'm not right up to the edge, but because it's on the bottom, you're not going to see it, and it doesn't matter. All you want is to stop the inserts falling out. So open up your next pocket. Is that right? Yes. And push that down into your next pocket. And squeeze it together. Give it a minute to take. That's it. Alright. That's that. Glue everywhere. So same with the next one. Open your pocket and push that down into your pocket. Squeeze it together. So what it does is brings the bottom together. So the top sort of opens like that, but it will bring the bottom together. Right, I'm going to do the rest off camera and then I'm going to come back and show you. Back in a minute. Right, I'm done. So that's all my bottom pieces put in. And it just makes the concertina nice and tight. So it doesn't, you know, flap all the way open. So you still have a flap here to attach to the box, but on this side you'll have two flaps. I mean, you can cut that off. I'm not going to, because I might be adding extra to put it into the box anyway. So there you are. Just give it a bit of a wiggle and train it to do what it needs to do. on that side. This one isn't stuck down properly inside, so I've got to fiddle with that. But yeah, so that gives you your 10 pockets, and then all your inserts. Will just sit nicely in each pocket. Yeah, that's the one I need to glue that one inside. There and there and there. So yeah, there's that bit done. So as you can see, once you've got all your inserts in, it's I've got to glue that bottom bit on that one. That's how it will look. Alright. So I don't know whether I should put my brads on now, because I expect they'll add a bit of chunk to it as well. I don't know how I'm going to get in there, and one side hasn't glued properly. I don't think my glue's even going to fit down there, so I'll get some ink and poke that down. So yeah, that's all your pockets done. So I am going to go off, I'm going to ink my edges, and I'm going to add my brads on so that I can, you know, judge the width. I think it should be okay. And I'm going to fix that one there that isn't glued properly at the bottom. Alright, so that's what you have. Any questions, give me a shout. Leave a message below. So I'm just going to go off and fix that. So make sure you've got glue on both sides of the flaps when you're sticking these bits on, because that one hasn't glued, and so it sinks down further than the rest of them. Alright, but there's plenty of room in there. You can put a photo on both sides, and there's plenty of room in each pocket for that, to give it a bit of extra bulk. So that wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, apart from that little mishap there, but hey ho, it's fixable. So what I'm going to do is go off, ink my edges, put my brads on, and then I will be back to show you how to do the measurements and what have you. So if you're not putting brads on, then you might not need it as wide as I'm doing mine. So, but I just want to get it right straight away, so that I get the width of the boxes straight, and plenty of room for it to fold up and close up. Alright, so I will be back with you very soon.